Hi, my name is Jamie Kaiser, and you're watching Jamie's Hidden Treasures, the show where I find you some hidden talents, small businesses, and organizations that you didn't even know about. Here, I'm standing in front of Ashland High School, where I graduated from in 2007. How did you get in there? Since then, I live in this cute little town, and I love it. But enough about me. Let's go look for some hidden treasure.
Trick or treat! Hi, little fella.
Hi.
Do you want some candy?
Yes?
I don't have any candy, but if you want to come inside, I'll tell you all about the origins of Halloween.
Sounds good, I'm coming.
Come on into my living room.
Wow, you have a very nice house here.
Oh, thank you.
I love the decorations too.
Oh, just last minute stuff. So, what do you know about Halloween?
All I know is trick-or-treating, bats, ghosts, candy, all the fun stuff.
So the cliches, basically. Why don't I start by telling you about the origins of Halloween?
Okay.
So, as we know, Halloween takes place on October 31st.
Mm-hmm.
That's All Hallows Eve. We call it Halloween for short. It's originally the Celtic festival known as Samhain, which is the Irish or Scottish end of the harvest season. But it also overlapped. It was also the same day that the spirit world could enter the world of the living. And they believed that it would cause havoc, crop devastation, disease, famine, you name it, they could do it. So they had this festival to kind of ward off the evil spirits. They wore the costumes that we're familiar with to mimic as well as appease the spirits. They had bonfires, which attracted bugs, bats to eat the bugs. That's why we know about bats and spiders and creepy crawly things. To have the light to ward off the spirits as well and keep them warm. The food, the candy, that kind of stuff as well, because it's a celebration. It's the end of the harvest season.
Right.
They have their crops, now they can eat and store up for the winter. So this whole idea of trick-or-treating is actually a practice called souling, which dates back to the Middle Ages. And it was when poor folk would go knocking door to door and asking for food, shelter, in exchange for a little bit of talent, singing, dancing, you name it, whatever they could offer. So this actually dates back to Shakespeare's play Two Gentlemen of Verona. So we could trace it in Italy as far back as 1593, which is pretty cool, especially considering it didn't come to the United States until 1915 in Chicago was the earliest scattered report. 1911 in Canada. So it was very scattered. It didn't become a tradition until actually the 1950s when Walt Disney made it a thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this whole idea of souling was on November 2nd, which was Hollow Mass. Very similar to Christmas caroling or wassailing. The whole idea of bringing good faith, good joy to other people in exchange for some good fellowship or companionship, do-gooder, that whole idea.
Yeah.
So that's why trick-or-treating has evolved today, but this whole idea of tricks. What is a trick? If you don't get your treat, you were allowed to impose a trick on that house. So the whole vandalization idea we have today of toilet paper, TPing, egging someone's house or their car, saran wrapping the car.
Right, right.
So that's the whole idea that back then, if you weren't given your treat, you could impose a trick. And it's actually, they're cracking down on it in the UK these days.
Really?
Policemen are very serious about it. They do not want tricks. They're not as cool about it as we are in the US, but just a little interesting tidbit.
Yeah, no, that is very interesting. So while Miss Bethany is tending to the other trick-or-treaters, I thought we could do a little arts and crafts project. And she left me a few things here too. So we are actually going to make handprint spiders. Very cute, isn't it? So all you need is some paper, colored paper for the face, pipe cleaners, and brushes. Tape is easy for the pipe cleaners to stay on, and some black paint. So I'm just going to grab a piece here. And I took off my jewelry just so that way nothing will get dirty. And you're going to move the paint. There we go. Put the paint on the palm of your hand, just like that. You can round it off too to kind of give the spider a more rounded look. But we're really going to cake that on there. Okay, just a little bit more so that way he comes out dark enough. Perfect. Okay. And then, see how my palm is covered? I'm going to put it down on the paper and push down for some assistance. Make sure we really get that good imprint there. And we're going to lift up. And you know what? If he needs a little filler in, just take your finger and glob it in. Make it fun. Make it fun and messy. There we go. Perfect. I left my little paper towel here. And you should wash your hands, but this is going to be a lot easier for right now. Good enough. And now I'm going to take my pipe cleaners. I have 8 of them for my little 8 legs. And you can certainly use glue, but just to get this really to stick on here, you can use tape as well. Either way is fine. Okay. So again, just stick down, tape. So doing the tape and the pipe cleaner, especially bending it too, is a good fine motor skill for the kids because they have to use their thumb and their pointer to peel and put the tape on. And you can bend it as you go, or you can bend it when you're done. Let's see. Here we go, almost done. Perfect. And like I said, if you want to just give them a little bend, that would make it look fun. Bend the legs a little bit. Here we go. So that's the main part of our spider. And now, just for a little finishing touch, you have 2 little eyes, green or whatever color you'd like, and a little mouth, which my little mouth got stuck to the paper. Oops, there we go. And voila, you have your spider, a cute little Halloween decoration to add to your home. We did the mash.
We did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
We did the mash. Ow, monster mash. Ow, Bethany. Ow.
I go to get one trick-or-treater, and this is what I come back to?
It felt like forever ago.
You're so weird.
How embarrassing.
Take a seat.
And we're back. So it sounds to me like the trick-or-treaters have subsided a little bit, so Miss Bethany can come back to tell us more about Halloween.
Yes, so did you notice the jack-o'-lanterns when you first came in?
I did, yeah.
Do you know the story about jack-o'-lanterns?
I don't know.
Okay, well, another Irish folk tale. There was this farmer, his name was Jack, and he was lazy, but he was shrewd. He was very cunning. He actually trapped the devil who was coming after his soul.
Wow.
Trap the devil. There's a bunch of different ways that he trapped the devil, according to different myths and different legends. But the one I'm going to use for simplicity's sake is that he trapped the devil in a tree by carving a cross into the bark. And he only let the devil down after he said, as long as you don't come after my soul, I'll let you go. So the devil said, okay, they made a deal. And then when Jack got old, he realized he needed somewhere to go. and he was too sinful to enter heaven, but he had made the deal with the devil. So the devil kind of laughed at him. Ha ha, you have nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. He threw him a flame from the gates of hell. He said, here's a flame, it'll never go out. It'll remind you of our deal. So Jack put it in a turnip. He hollowed out a turnip, and he put the flame in it because his turnips were his favorite food. Mm-hmm. And he carried it around. And he has this never-ending flame in a hollow turnip. And it was the jack-o'-lantern. And he's forever wandering, looking for somewhere to go. Because he has no home.
Very interesting.
That is the story of the jack-o'-lantern. I did mention to you All Hallows Eve, correct?
Correct.
All right. That is the Irish and Celtic tradition, but do you know about the Spanish one?
No, I'm not sure.
All right. Well, it's the Day of the Dead.
Mm.
All right. Well, let me get into this. It's very similar to All Hallows Eve, only instead of fearing the dead, it actually welcomes them and celebrates them. It's this whole idea of honoring ancestors or people that you've loved that have passed away. Mm-hmm. They decorate graves. They cook their favorite food. They make altars in their homes to honor these people. They even wear their clothing. Mm-hmm. Or they dress up as skeletons. Skeletons is a huge thing, especially in the Mexican and Spanish cultures. This tradition went back all the way to the ancient Aztecs.
Wow.
Where this Day of the Dead, or actually was the Month of the Dead, where they would celebrate. However, when Christianity came to the New World, they condensed it and they transitioned the day or the month into the day
I gotcha.
that was the same as All Hallows Eve.
Oh,
Because
okay.
All Hallows Eve was originally pagan, but then they made it All Saints Day when they converted to Christianity. So they tried making it all fall around November 1st, November 2nd. Mm-hmm. For simplicity's sake, and to make everything coincide.
Right.
So this tradition is still celebrated. It's a national holiday in countries all over South America. And it's something that, instead of showing fear, shows love, respect, and honor for people that have passed away.
Oh, wow.
Same idea with costumes and food and celebrating and parties and candy.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun.
I think the only thing we haven't talked about is Salem, correct?
Right. Yeah.
All right, we did mention that before. I forgot, my fault. So, we live in Massachusetts.
Of course.
We've heard about Salem, but what do we really know about it? I mean, what could you tell me about Salem? If I were to walk up to you on the street and say, Jamie, what do you know about Salem? Massachusetts, not New Hampshire. We don't like New Hampshire.
No.
Salem, Massachusetts.
You know what? All I know...
No pressure.
No pressure. I know a lot of the trials went on there, the witch trials, burning, stuff like that's all I know is like the basics of Salem. But do you know a little bit more of that nitty-gritty stuff that I want to know?
I can tell you a little bit. So, Salem is home of the famous Salem witch trials. Mm-hmm. We learn about it in every textbook, every American history class you'll ever take will tell you all about the Salem witch trials. So, it was a Puritan society. Mm-hmm. It was prior to the Revolution, so it was a colony, Mass Bay colony.
Yeah.
And they were very religious. Remember, Massachusetts was founded on religious freedom. So these Puritans were very strict. They all went to church every Sunday. Anyone that wasn't considered a witch was criticized.
Gotcha.
Or analyzed. Why aren't they going to church? What's wrong with these people? Mm-hmm. So what happened at the time, and there's but hundreds of different theories about why this actually happened.
Right.
But this group of young girls, adolescent teenagers, started having these hallucinations. They started panicking and calling out people who are in the society who were those ones that were skeptical or not necessarily following the Puritan way of life, calling them out to be witches, saying they were torturing them, but you couldn't see it. It was all just, they were acting it out. They were rolling on the floor, convulsing, saying that they were being bewitched by these people who were sitting there quietly. Very much like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Of course. The Salem witch trials actually took place between 1692 and 1693. And throughout the course of the time, 19 people were hanged. More people died in prison or had been so oppressed by it they were never the same afterwards.
Right.
So it was this whole idea of mass hysteria, not having justification for trying these people and having them be found guilty under false pretenses. And it set a precedence and a stereotype for how we try people in America today, even though we don't like to think that we're based off of witch trials or something so religious in a society whose First Amendment is the separation of church and state, but that we are shaped by something that traumatic in our past, especially the very beginning of our past.
Right. Right.
So it is something to take into account when would Ashland be manipulated by 5 or 6 15-year-olds? Is that something you would allow for us to do? I mean, I would just be like, go to detention.
Exactly.
Get over it. Build a bridge.
You're grounded.
Yeah.
Those parents.
But they took it so seriously that they killed all these people. One person was pressed to death by stones.
Wow.
So, and now today, anytime I bring up something religious or anti-religious in a classroom, my kids say, burn the witch! Like, where is this coming from? I never talk about witches. We're learning world history. We're talking about the Industrial Revolution and Gandhi. Things that have nothing to do with burning witches. It's just things that are ingrained in them.
Exactly.
And they haven't even had American history yet. So it is something that's definitely relevant in our society today.
Mm-hmm.
And when we think of Salem, we don't think of the nice little colonial town and how it's a port city and how it was famous for naval history. No, we think of witches. And when we go to Salem, they have a beautiful ship and a beautiful port. I just went there a couple weeks ago. All I saw was witch stuff. Witchcrafts and costumes and the stereotypical Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing about the history.
Wow.
When you come to Ashland, we learn about the clock.
Right.
The clockers and the pride and the Johnstone's Inn. We don't talk about, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Media things about Ashland. I don't think we have that many. But poor Ashland. But just to say that Salem does get a bad rap for that. Something that needs to be a little bit readdressed, and I think.
I gotcha.
In the classrooms is where it needs to start. But.
No, I do agree with that. I mean, because I've always told people, for, a list on my bucket list, I want to go to Salem for Halloween because I hear it's really scary and everything like that. But, yeah, you talk about all the beautifulness around it, and a lot of people are blinded because all they think of is witches and ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
These people were just normal people. They might not necessarily have been the ideal Puritan woman or man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were just people like Goody Bishop and the, Jane Doe or whatever.
Yeah.
The normal people that just lived there just because they didn't go to church every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Or they weren't friendly with their neighbors. They were subjects. They were targets. So these kids could have just turned on anybody. Maybe people they'd heard their parents talking about at the dinner table.
Right.
Did you hear this woman, what she did in church? She didn't bow in front of the cross 5 times like you're supposed to.
Right.
Or something just that simple. These kids could have turned it around and said, okay, that's my next victim. Let's go kill this person. Let's accuse her of being a witch and they'll kill her.
Wow.
End our problems. So just very interesting. And unfortunately, it does follow Halloween now because we have witches and broomsticks and the warts and I'll get you, my pretty. Yeah. So, I mean, I named my dog Toto. I'm one of those people. So I can't complain.
Are you Dorothy? No. Well, I mean, you see my costume. I'm a pirate.
Yes.
What were you going to be for Halloween?
Well, I am going to be Robin to a Batman this weekend for Halloween.
Nice.
Doing superheroes. I've never done superheroes. However, at the school I am employed at, we are doing a theme. All the teachers in my building are going to be pirates.
Arrgh!
Arrgh. Maybe I'll borrow your costume. Call you up. Jamie, I need a costume. Hook me up, girl. So that might, you might get that call on Wednesday night. But hopefully we'll win a pizza party because the more teachers that dress up in one of our buildings wins a pizza party.
Good luck. It sounds like fun.
I'm excited. Our students are going to look at us like we're crazy. But
don't they always?
that's how you get their attention. But I want to thank you for coming in here into my home and letting me bore you. I hope I didn't bore you.
You didn't bore me, no. I thought this was absolutely fascinating, to be honest.
You come back Christmas caroling and I'll do this at Christmas. Thanksgiving, I'll come back.
Hanukkah.
You got it.
Any holiday. Sounds good.
Groundhog Day. Leif Erikson Day. Arbor Day. All right. Ready to go back out there and keep trick-or-treating you?
Yes, I am.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me in and telling me all the wonderful things about Halloween.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Where's the treat you promised me?
Oh, I got it right here. Happy Halloween.
Thank you very much. What am I supposed to do with this? Bye, thank you. Now that we have learned about the history of Halloween, here are some do's and don'ts for a safe trick-or-treating experience. Number 1, do not do what I just did and walk into some stranger's house. No, you just want to go right up to the doorbell, ding dong, trick-or-treat, get your candy and go. That's a much safer thing to do. 2, do not walk alone. Walk with either family, friends, people that you're familiar with. Like I said, it's not good to walk alone. 3, make sure you bring a flashlight because it can get dark very, very quickly and you don't want to fall and break your arm or your leg or whatever you may break. 4, make sure when you cross the street that you look both ways, you're with people, you have your flashlight, and you're ready to go. Do not run across the street. You could get hit by a car. Number 5, make sure that you only eat sealed candy and nothing from a Ziploc baggie. You don't know who's touched it, where it's been, that sort of thing. So make sure that mommy and daddy, grandma, grandpa, auntie and uncle, whoever takes you trick-or-treating, make sure that they look at the candy first. 6, I would go to houses with lights on. Lights means candy. No lights, no candy. Waste of time. And number 7, make sure to dress warm. With your costume, grab a coat if you need to. You don't have to be freezing the whole night. So I hope that these helped, and I hope that you enjoy your trick-or-treating experience. Thank you.
Arg, and welcome to Jamie's Hidden Treasures, the show where I find you some hidden talents in Bethany Bartolini.
Jamie,
Yes?
what are you doing out here?
I'm getting into character, what do you think?
What's wrong with you? It's freezing out.
Fine, I'll come in.